Hi Scrappers! Today I decided to put a video together on wireless internet equipment. I have a wireless internet service that is part of the company that I'm with, and we took down several pieces of equipment off the wireless network, replaced it with different type of equipment. So what we're looking at here is we've got the types of equipment. Off to the side here we've got what's called a sector antenna, and this is also a sector antenna over here, and this would be the unit that actually pushes the signal up to that sector antenna. These pieces right here would be the pieces that would mount on top of a house or a building. This piece right here, I'm not quite sure what that is. This was part of the network when we acquired the company, and I'm not familiar with that one. So, but we also over here, we also have another type of company, or another type of wireless equipment. This is manufactured by a company called Ubiquiti, and this right here would be what's considered a backhaul. So on a tower, you've got one tower that produces a signal, and it has to transport that data over to another tower. So you'd have one of these on one tower and one of these on the receiving tower as well, and that's how the towers get the signal. And then a sector antenna is what takes it from the tower and produces the signal that goes out to the households themselves. So over to the left here, this is all Deliberant equipment. That's the company brand. And this is Ubiquiti. So like I said, we've got the backhaul. This is the radio that would attach to a sector antenna. So notice over here with Deliberant, we've got this big piece right here. That's what's producing the signal that's going to the sector antenna that's producing, or that's pushing that signal out to the households. With Ubiquiti, it's much smaller. So we've got that piece right there that attaches to a sector antenna. I don't have an old sector antenna to be able to scrap out this time for Ubiquiti, but we should get a pretty good idea from the Deliberant equipment. I would imagine the technology is going to be the same. The piece in the center right here, that's a wand. Basically what it is, it attaches to the home and it attaches to a dish that captures the signal, and that's what brings the internet down into the home, attaches to a router, and it's what allows individual households to have wireless internet. The other one that's behind there that you can kind of see, that's an older version of the center one. There was some of that equipment that was out on the network as well that we took down and replaced it. But today what I'm going to go through, so all this equipment here that you're seeing, it's all older equipment, and especially this stuff. I've got a whole pile of this. We've got several hundred customers that we've pulled the equipment down off of the network over the course of a few years, and we've just been holding on to it. We tried to sell it at one point. There's really no market for old used wireless equipment. This stuff, for one reason or another, it's failed. We've had a piece fail because of a lightning strike. Some of it's just the age of the equipment. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get set up. I'll start breaking these down a little bit, at least removing the cover, so you don't have to see me removing a bunch of screws and that kind of stuff, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm back. And what I thought I'd do is I'd break this up, and we'll do the Ubiquiti piece first, and then we'll move on to the Deliberant. So I've taken the liberty of pulling the screws out and breaking these apart so that we can get into them real easy. So let's start. We'll start from this side, and we'll work our way across. So this is, as I was saying earlier, this is a radio that actually connects to the sector antenna, and the sector antenna is what produces the signal that goes out and is able to produce a wireless internet signal that people are able to receive at their homes. And notice we've got the top here. These are gold. They're gold plated. They want to make sure they've got a real good solid connection between the radio itself and the sector antenna. So it's got real nice gold plating there. And they're the only thing holding this entire device together. There are two screws down in the bottom here. So I pop those two screws out. The rest of this slides. Should slide. There we go. Slides right out. And on the inside, notice we don't have anything else on the inside other than we want to make sure that we remove the connectors at the top there and throw that into our gold-plated materials. The rest of the board, we've got two screws down here that we've got to remove, but notice it's got a real nice little motherboard on it. Nothing too fancy. We do want to make sure that we recover the remaining parts of the gold pins there that were part of the top connections. But we've got a USB. It's got a couple gold pins in there. We've also got the Ethernet port. You'll be able to find gold pins in there. We've got a little bit of aluminum on the back here, and just real simple and straightforward. I've popped one of these off before, just a little aluminum covering there, and it's just more of this type stuff. Yeah, well, why don't we go ahead and do that? Just because I've seen it before doesn't mean you have. So notice we've got a couple little flat packs there, and so nice little board. We've got some MLCCs. Not a whole lot more to that. We've got a little bit of gold recovery here, but as far as the board grades go, I'm not as up on my knowledge as far as how to value the gold, or the board grades. I would guess that this, based on a little bit that I have learned, that this would probably be a mid-grade board. Notice we've got the nice little gold-plated. I don't know if you can see that on there. It's got the nice little gold-plated. And I'm drawing a blank on what that is now. So, but anyway, real nice little board. Throw that in with your boards. Make sure you pull all the little stuff off there that really doesn't matter, like the aluminum that's back here. And if you are looking for gold recovery, it does have some real nice little gold pins on there. So this next piece, this backhaul that I was telling you about, the piece that communicates from one tower to the next, this had a piece of shielding on the back of it. Basically what it is, it's to protect that so that you don't get a lot of RF signal interfering, because each one of these, they communicate using RF signal, and they each have to sit on their own frequency that's far enough away from another frequency where it doesn't distort it, and because that'll actually lower your level of internet that's able to be transported from one piece of equipment to the next. So first thing I did is I removed the shielding. Nice little piece of steel there. And then I've already pulled all the screws out of this, so we can get right inside of it and see what we have here. Nothing on the back side here, just a piece of plastic. Just right out to the side. And oh, I didn't realize we had all these little screws in here, so give me just a moment. I'll go through, zip these out real quick. And what we're taking the screws out of right now, this is a fiberglass board, and on the back side of that fiberglass board, you notice all those little squares inside of there. All of those little squares are basically the antenna that allow that produce the wireless signal from one piece of equipment to the next. As we pull that off, you notice that this entire sheet, all of those little squares inside of there, that's all copper flashing. So it's not, I guess it's fairly thick copper flashing, but it is still flashing in itself. So, and then we go down a little bit further and notice we've got another piece. Oh, and this one's going to want to be different. It looks like we've got a little tiny screw inside of there. Okay, so as it turns out, I had to go find a smaller screwdriver with a real fine Phillips bit. The little tiny screws that were on there were way smaller than the number 2 Phillips that I had inside the drill. So, but anyway, I was able to get that off, and notice we've got more copper flashing there, and it's just really fine. But it is copper. But notice on the back side here, we've got a nice full sheet of it, and actually it's good thick copper. It's thick enough where you can actually bend it and it holds its form. So this is actually something that's real nice. Throw that in with if you're a copper recovery person. There are ways to get it off the board, to get it off the. It looks like it's some type of fiberglass board. I'm not real sure, but I've seen some videos where people do copper recovery and different precious metal recoveries with acid dips, and I would imagine that by sticking this in there, this would come off the same way any other type of precious metal would dissolve in that acid. So, okay, so underneath that we've got nice steel plate here, and on the bottom side of the steel plate, and that's what we're looking for. Another motherboard here. And notice we've got four real nice gold connections here with the nuts and the and so on. So we'll certainly want to pop all of those off. And they're not on there real tight, which I'm surprised. I thought they would have been on a little tighter than that. So we'll pop all of these off. And notice we've got the real nice ends there. We've got two sets of cables with those ends on it, and then we've also got the real nice pieces there. So now let's see where I put that other screwdriver down. There we go. It just popped off, so we can take a look at that. It looks like this is real similar to the last one we had, just with one extra connector on there. The gold connections on the end. Let's see what the other side of this board looks like. It's incredible for the size of this thing how small the board is inside of it. And we've got a lot of plastic, got some steel, but the board itself is just it's only about, I don't know, 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So it looks like this board's real similar to the last one we looked at. It's got the gold ends on the top there. We'll pop these covers off and take a look to see what we've got underneath of them. There we go. Now we'll make this progress. Okay, so you can see there's not a whole lot underneath there. I'm guessing these are basically designed to protect it from heat. So nice little boards. We've only got the one. We don't have the USB side on this one, but we do have the Ethernet port. And yeah, nice little boards. So crystal oscillator. That's what I was looking for earlier on the other one. So it looks like this one's got the same crystal oscillator here, the little gold-plated gold edges. Inside of that, you are going to find a little bit of gold as well. So those are real nice to keep. The MLCCs, those you're going to find silver and it's either platinum or palladium. I'm trying to recall which it is, but yeah, if you're into depopulating the boards, you want to make sure that you're holding on to that type of stuff. They can be cumbersome to pull off, but they do add up over time. The crystal oscillators, the MLCCs, your little chips, all that kind of stuff, they do all add up. But yeah, so that's a whole lot of plastic, whole lot of equipment for such a little tiny board. But you do see there is some good value in that. You've got some gold. You've got some gold there, and on here. Plus if you're into copper, you've got this nice big sheet here. Plus the other side, and the other sheet as well. So okay, so let's pull these off to the side and keep moving on. So these next two pieces are real similar. They're just different ages in technology. So you've got these wands. Basically what they do is they connect to a dish. This one connects to what's called an air grid. It's a half round, looks like a grill that you would pick up, that you would grill on. And that's what captures the wireless signal that's passing through the air, and it allows it to pass through this device here, this wand. It goes down, connects to your router, and that's how you get your signal inside the home. The one that's next to it, that's just a newer model of it. So you've got different technologies. This is a slower technology. It's called CISO, or single in, single out technology. It just takes longer for the packets to get back and forth to where they go. And then this other one, the newer model, it's a MIMO. It's multi in, multi out. So let's take a look on the inside and see what we've got. I've already popped the tops off so we could get inside of there. The nose just has a little piece of aluminum inside of there that not sure exactly what the purpose of it is. Maybe it's just that's the piece that receives the signal. But notice in here, this is the entire brain of this thing. Everything else that we've got all the way down to the bottom, it's all hollow. It's basically this entire unit right here. It's just an extension so that it allows you to use a bigger air grid system itself. And this right here is the radio itself. So throw all the plastics off to the side, and as we take a look at this, we notice it's got little antennas on there, and these are real lightly gold plated. I don't know if you could tell in the video there, but they're real lightly gold plated. So those are real nice. We've got some gold flashing on the unit itself, a couple IC chips. We do have the little pins inside of there for the Ethernet cable, and notice we've got a little piece of aluminum on the back side here. So nice. I mean, it's a nice little board. Nothing too fancy, nothing to get too excited about. But if you're into gold recovery, which I would pull these off and I'd throw these into to my gold recovery kit. I'd probably pull these pins off, and then it leaves just a very basic board. This is probably, I'd say, a low-grade board. So you could do whatever you want with this one. For me, I'll go ahead and pull this little bit of gold off, and yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what the newer model looks like. My guess is we're probably looking at something similar. All right, so we've got a bigger piece of aluminum in the front there to capture the wireless signal, and this looks very similar, almost identical. Looks like they turned the Ethernet port to the side just because they changed the design and the plastic housing, but everything else looks real similar. Maybe maneuvered a little bit of the stuff around, but we've still got the little antenna wires up here. It looks like the gold flashing they've gotten even a little lighter on those than the older models. But yeah, no, this is fun if you're into scrapping and gold recovery and pulling things apart to see how they're put together. Really interesting. So I'm going to pause the video right now, and we're going to move on to the Deliberant system to see how much the technology changed, because those are older pieces. They're I'd say they're at least, oh gosh, they could be 4 or even 5 years older than this stuff. So let's see what a different manufacturer and different aged equipment looks like. And we're back. So I took the time to go through and pull all the screws and any other types of things that were holding these pieces of equipment together, at least the outer shell. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll just go piece by piece. So this piece right in the front here, I'm not sure exactly what this is. I believe it's probably something that would have communicated with one of the sector antennas. It's got a nice aluminum casing to it. When we open it up, nice hard shell there. And when we open it up, it's got a real nice little motherboard on the inside. It looks like it's got these real small slot cards that go with it as well. So let's go ahead and remove these real quick. And as you can see, we've got some real nice gold connectors here. So those are a real happy surprise. Let's get this out of here so we can get a closer look at it. See just exactly what we have. Here's that little piece of Cat 5 inside of there. Okay, so a nice little board. Oh, look at that! We've got the gold cornered IC chip there. So nice little VGA connection. A couple of Ethernet ports. Let's see what else we've got here. This looks like, oh, interesting. They've got rubber bands on here to hold the connectors closed. Let's pull these out. Let's see exactly what we have. A couple little slot cards. Nice little gold edges there. Looks like a little bit of aluminum on the back. Interesting. I like this. Way more intense than the Ubiquiti pieces of equipment we were looking at. Again, these are old Deliberant wireless point-to-point or point-to-multi-point pieces of equipment. Yeah, some gold edge crystal oscillator. This is a really nice board. I like this. We've got gold, little pieces of gold everywhere on this. Bottom side, we've got a couple of tantalum capacitors. This is exciting. I like this. Really like the these little slot cards. Lots of little treasures on this. Fun. Okay, so those are that. We've got Cat5 cable. We've got this other cable with the gold ends on it. And if we look down in here, we should see it's also got gold connectors down on this end as well. And yeah, this makes me think that this is for an access point itself, because what happens is it attaches to a cable like this one. Real good heavy duty thick cable, and notice it's got the gold ends up inside of there as well. It looks like it's not going to focus in on it for us. But now this piece of cable was attached to these other two pieces of equipment, because remember we had the sector antenna and the base unit, and it looks like that was also made with an aluminum casing. So let's pull this out. I'm assuming this is just a back plate. I'm guessing we're probably not going to find anything interesting behind here. But let's pull it apart just to take a look at it so we can confirm. And I'm gonna say this is probably entirely aluminum. I know that's cast aluminum. Yeah, this is interesting. So I'd cheated before, and I'd looked inside of a piece of Ubiquiti equipment, so I kind of had an idea of what we were going to anticipate there. But this is my first time inside of a piece of Deliverance, so everything's a nice, pleasant little surprise. So yeah, that's just a plate that the board itself is screwed into. So very nice. Good. This is a good find. I'm excited about this. I'm hoping that I've got some more of these back in the storage unit. Like I said, this is all old equipment that we pulled off of a wireless network, so this is very exciting. Might even be able to find a way to repurpose the aluminum casing. It is weather tight, so cool. So we'll put all this stuff off to the side and keep moving. Okay, so the next piece, let's take a look at. We've got this is just a standard home unit, CPE, customer prem equipment is what that stands for. And pull the face off. Okay, so it's just got a back plate and everything looks like it's underneath the front cover here. And again, I am really enjoying what I'm finding with this. This older equipment sure has some good little treasures inside of here. We've got gold connectors here. Let's pull this apart. Yeah, this is all real exciting. Although I do think it's kind of interesting how they held this back piece in place. They've got it screwed down, but they also have it insulated with some of that spray foam insulation. Be curious to find out what the reasoning for that was. So, looks like a real nice little board. Not nearly as exciting as the last one we just looked at, but it's got this nice aluminum heat sink here. Again, I'm really enjoying these all these little treasures, these little gold ends here. Pop all that stuff off, all this stuff off, throw it into your gold recovery. Ethernet ports. Yeah, this one doesn't have nearly as much exciting stuff on it, but it's still a nice little board in itself. Little gold flashing here and there. So cool, very cool. Obviously we've got the cable here, and also all these RJ45 ends. They've all got, if you can see that, they've all got the gold pins inside of there as well that can relatively easily be recovered. So yeah, good, exciting. I'm gonna guess that there's nothing on the back side of that, just like what we found in the last one. So we'll move on to the next. We'll grab this next one here, the one that was the one that I'm assuming is for the sector antennas. We'll pull the plate off that, and beautiful. This looks real similar to the last one we just looked at. So let's go ahead and pull this stuff out of here. Get this unscrewed real quick. Yeah, these are real nice. Oops. I wonder. There we go. And looks like we must have at least one more. Very nice. Okay, so we've got another one of these real nice boards. Oh, they got smarter. Instead of using rubber bands, they decided to solder this into place. Interesting. They really didn't want these things coming out, did they? So, well, I'll fight with that another time. We know what those look like. We just pulled one out of the last board, but that's interesting that they would solder that instead of using the rubber bands. I wonder if they have an issue with these not staying in place the way they're supposed to. But yeah, no, real nice boards. This one's got an extra channel and capacitor on there that wasn't on the other. I think there were only two on the last one, but real pretty boards. I like this. This one I'm pretty sure you could drop this into your high grade boards because of that chip right there. So, and pull these off and keep those completely separate altogether. Yeah, very exciting. It's got all the other goodies on it, just like the other one did. Your VGA, your Ethernet ports, and so on. Exciting. Oh, it looks like this one. Oh no, that's okay. So it does have an extra board here, just a plain little board, but it looks like on the inside there, all it is, it's just green board with Ethernet connectivity. So yeah, definitely want to make sure the cable's cleaned up here. Make sure you pull these off so you get the gold pins out of there. And yeah, and this one's got the aluminum casing, so real nice casing. Seal up nice and tight if you ever wanted to store anything outside for whatever reason. So good. Okay, let's see another one of these CPEs, customer prem equipment. You can see this one's probably sitting out there the longest. Notice the color or the discoloration. Oh, interesting. This is just like the backhaul that we were looking at earlier, the Ubiquiti piece. So let's pop this out. Looks like it's copper on fiberglass is what it looks like. Interesting. All right, so not a lot to that. Then we've got this plate here. And okay, there we go. So we've seen a board just like that earlier, so no point in diving further into that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying seeing all the little bit of gold on there. We've got the aluminum on there. We've got the gold inside of the this Cat 5 or Cat 6, this RJ45 end. A little bit of copper wiring there. Again, we've got the gold pin up inside of there, a little more pins for the RJ45 end there. And yeah, no, this is, gosh, I'm really liking this equipment. It certainly seems to have far better quality than the Ubiquiti. But then again, I have a feeling it comes down to age. These are much older than the Ubiquiti pieces of equipment, and technology's changed. They don't have to use as much precious metal. They don't have to use as much gold or silver or any of the other precious metals. They can get away with a lot less and have a better quality piece of equipment. So yeah, but it's exciting going through this stuff. looks like we've got one more customer prem type equipment. And okay, so this one's a little bit different. It looks like real similar to the last one as far as the copper plating, but this doesn't look like copper. These little plastic screws, all you've got to do is just get them started and they should spin right out. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort on their part, but just cumbersome. Okay, so like we've got some type of sticky thing down underneath it here. Not quite sure exactly what this is. We've got some solder in the center there. Maybe it's just a matter of popping that out. Yeah, it looks like we've got a double-sided foam tape. Okay. Oh, there we go. So it looks like that's attached. We've got, I don't know if you could see that, we've got a little tiny gold pin that attached from the bottom that's soldered right into that, and I don't know what this material is because it doesn't look like copper. It doesn't look like, gosh, I'm at a loss there. So, but let's keep pulling this apart and see what we've got. This one looks like it's a little bit smaller, a little smaller screw head. Okay, and we are free. Okay, not a surprise. A similar type of board to what we've seen out of the last couple of customer prem pieces of equipment. We've got a little bit of copper wiring, insulated copper. We've got an aluminum board. Looks like we've got a little bit of gold left over from whatever that pin was. Oh, it looks like if we look underneath it there, it's the same type of gold connector as what we saw on the other pieces of equipment. So yeah, we'll definitely want to make sure that gets pulled out of there. So this is, like I said, I can't say enough about these. These are really exciting pieces of equipment to pull apart. Again, we've got the little gold piece inside of here. We've got our gold plated piece inside of there. We've got the gold pins inside of the Ethernet port. Gosh, yeah, real exciting. Okay, so let's see what a sector antenna has to provide. So first, let's take a look at the wiring. So this was the wiring that was going between the radio, what was producing the RF or the internet that goes up to the sector antennas. So this was the cable that went there, and it's inside of it's got the gold pins. I don't know what's on the inside. Oops. I don't know what's on the inside of these cables. So why don't let's pop one open. This could be, I'm going to take a guess and say it's probably real similar to a coaxial cable, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks just like a coax cable, and typically that's not even copper on the inside. It's a plated material, and it just goes into your scrap tin. It's really not worth anything at all. So that's good to know that it isn't anything more than that. So we'll cut the ends off. We'll go for the gold recovery inside of those and put that in our pot. Okay, so let's move on to the sector antennas. Let's see what these have to. And these were a bugger. Getting the ends off of this one was riveted on, so I had to bust the rivets out, and then it was sealed, and it was just really stuck in there. So I wound up destroying the entire bottom of this. So let's take a look at the inside. So we pull it out, and notice we don't have anything more on the inside. It's just a plastic or maybe even a fiberglass casing here, and that is what produces a signal. Now this could be a 90 or 120 degree sector antenna. You really can't tell based on looking at it, but this is is the piece of equipment that produces the wireless signal that goes to the homes and allows people to have internet access out in the rural areas where your big carriers, your DSL and your cable carriers just refuse to build service just because of the cost. You're talking a lot of miles, a lot of miles to cover for very little return on their investment because the population is so sparse. So that's where these wireless point-to-point and point-to-multipoint pieces of equipment come into play. They're able to reach long distances and give people service where they otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity. So, but anyway, looking at this, there's really nothing on this. You've got a little bit of gold plated material down at the bottom here, but that's about it. That looks like it could be aluminum, could even be steel for all I know. I don't have a magnet to be able to test, but yeah, you've got a little bit of copper on the backside, but there's really nothing exciting about these. So if you do come across these, honestly, I don't know if it would even be worth your time picking these things up. So fortunately, the customer prem equipment is way more exciting. All right, let's see what the bigger one looks like. Okay, so again, we've got the real big empty casing now, and the inside looks almost identical. There's really nothing exciting about these. It's the back side, so we've got this little maybe fiberglass board that has a little bit of copper flashing on it, but outside of that, I'm not seeing anything exciting here. Make sure you pull the copper wiring off of there. You've got how it's down here at the end and it goes all the way through to the back side there. But yeah, if I come across these again, if it's somebody that just asks me to take them, I will. But as far as scrapping them out as they are, there's really no value in scrapping them. But the more important part is just making sure that they find their way to the proper home. We don't want to see this kind of stuff wind up in the landfills or anything like that. So I would take this stuff again. I probably wouldn't dismantle it. I'd probably take it to to my recycler, the place where I take all my stuff. I'd probably just take it as a whole unit and let them put it through their grinder just as a whole unit, because they've got the capabilities of grinding the stuff up and separating it out and making sure that if it's fiberglass, it goes off to fiberglass. If it's plastics, it goes off to plastics. If it's steel or aluminum or copper or whatever element they're working with, they've got ways of separating it all out, and it's not nearly as labor is intensive. The machinery and belts and all that kind of stuff take care of all the separation and sorting. So for these guys, because there's really no value for a scrapper, I would send them off as is. Just let the machines do the work and let the refiners take whatever it is they want out of it. I'd probably cut the end off of here and keep that so I could pull the gold pin out and send the rest off. So, all right, so let's do a recap here. Give me just a moment. Let me organize this stuff, get it all sorted out on the desk here, and we'll do a quick recap. Okay, I think I've got everything organized now. We've got. Turns out that that other aluminum box that had the foam insulation in it, turned out that it had one of these things as well. I don't recall which one it was, but not that one. Oh, here we go. There it is. Notice it's got the dirty edges on there, and it's got the nice gold pin underneath of it there. So there was more to it than what we knew. So that was a nice surprise. So anyway, I separated it out. We've got the various different boards that have the copper plating on there, and then we've got the various different green boards and brown boards over here. We've got the two really nice ones up there, and I was able to get those slot cards out, the other two. So we've got 4 slot cards. Notice we've got nice gold-plated material there, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff where we need to remove the gold plating from. And so just a really nice. I mean, it took a little bit of time to get through it, but I'm real happy with what we got out of it. Now we come over here, and this is everything. Between what's on the desk there and what we've got on the floor here, this is all the aluminum, the steel, and whatnot. I'll go through and sort that out, and that's it for what we have for plastics. So I'll make sure that those get out to the proper plastic recycler. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I had a whole lot of fun making the video. It's real exciting opening these things up and seeing what we have on the inside here. Just a real pleasant surprise. The Ubiquiti equipment being newer, I can understand that not being as high quality. I mean, it does have a little bit of the gold inside of there. I mean, these are the Ubiquiti pieces right here, but the Deliberance, that's where the real pleasant surprise came into play. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck out there. Hopefully you guys are able to get your hands on some equipment like this, and keep scrapping. Let's keep as much of this stuff out of the landfills as we can, and just have fun doing it. Enjoy your time, and if you like the video, hit subscribe. I'm going to continue making videos, and hopefully I'm going to be able to continue getting some unique stuff. I haven't seen any of this wireless equipment out there. I did see that E-Waste Ben had a piece. He had a sector antenna, and it looked like he had about the same luck that I had with my sector antennas. Really really nothing to get excited over. But this other stuff, these other pieces of equipment, the customer prem equipment and the actual radios themselves that pass the internet service along, the internet signal along, that's the real exciting stuff, as you can see from here. Hopefully I can get my hands on some more of this stuff and some other unique pieces, and I'll keep making some videos and look forward to having you guys view them in the future.